your research, because it's really important to us that we don't make these kinds of mistakes again. Who was on the watch? Like, so in your research, we can all blame politicians, we can blame bureaucrats, we can blame all sorts of people, but there was good, thoughtful advice, and it was not only not listened to, it was actively avoided.
Yeah, but it was good, thoughtful advice from a bunch of political nobodies. It was good, thoughtful advice from 15 Canadian economists who were basically the 15 Canadian economists who study labor markets and immigration. They're complete nobodies.
Yeah, but sort of knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, they knew everything. Oh no, they knew everything. I just mean they weren't connected or plugged in. And so the story, it's kind of an interesting story. So John McCallum, when he becomes immigration minister in early 2016, he writes to all these economists and he says, hey, you guys are all experts in labor markets and immigration. I have a bunch of questions, and they're kind of leading questions that suggest where the government's going, but he did still ask them the questions, and it's probably because McCallum was an economist, a former McGill economist, a former chief economist of the Royal Bank, and he knew what his government wanted him to do, and I think he was probably asking the economists in the hope that maybe they'd divert him off on a different course. And if you go into the book, I mean, I lay out everything the economists said, and as Martha has described, they essentially say, don't do this, don't do that, focus on this, focus on skills, don't worry about numbers, focus on permanent immigrants, don't have a temporary immigration system. If you're gonna use temporary immigration, here's the smart way to use it, and on and on and on and on. And essentially their focus was, and it's one of the big conclusions of my book, if you're gonna use immigration, think about raising GDP per capita, not just raising GDP. Think about the number of forks in the pie and the size of the slices and all that.